The second biggest day on the movie year calendar, the day the Oscars get announced. Of course, the biggest day on the movie calendar is the Oscars themselves. But the Oscar nominations came out, and there were a couple of minor surprises, but for the most part, it was pretty much what we were expecting. Including, I think yesterday I said, remember on the show yesterday saying, I said, I think Oppenheimer's going to get 13 nominations. Well, Oppenheimer leads the way with 13 nominations. I think Poor Things had the second most nominations with 11, and on from there. So let's get into the nominations, shall we? We'll start off with the big one. The 2024 nominees for Best Picture are American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. And I know everybody was waiting for me to comment on it. It is a travesty that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I can name 4 films on this list that I would easily bump out for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but it's called the Oscars, not which movies should John Campea have win. It is what it is. So these are the movies that got nominated for that. All right, we go into the Best Lead Actor. Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. No surprises here. I think this is the 5 that I think most people thought it was going to come down to. And really, this is a 2-horse race. This is Paul Giamatti and Cillian Murphy. Of course, Paul Giamatti has won a couple of them. Cillian Murphy's won a couple of them. And I know the odds are the odds makers are saying Cillian Murphy. I'm going to go with the under. I think Paul Giamatti's going to win this. I really do. I think he's going to win it. All right. Best Actress in a Leading Role. Annette Bening for Nyad. Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon. Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall. Carey Mulligan for Maestro. And Emma Stone for Poor Things. This is also a 2-horse race. It's going to be either Lily Gladstone or Emma Stone, but considering, we were talking about this before the show started, considering the fact that Lily Gladstone didn't even get a BAFTA nomination, it kind of makes me think that this might be Emma Stone's. Chris, is this one a 2-horse race between the two of them, or do you think it's a 1-horse race at this point, or could anybody surprise?
I think it's definitely between the two. Again, the BAFTAs, it's one of those things where they swapped out several actresses for English actresses. And so I don't know if that is going to be our final litmus test, whereas we've got the SAG Awards coming up and everything too. Both Emma and Lily are nominated there. I feel like that's going to be our bigger predictor of who's taking this.
Mm-hmm. They're tied,
100%.
right? They're tied 1 for 1. So the SAG is the tiebreaker.
Yes.
All right. Actor in a supporting role. This one was surprising. Sterling K. Brown, multi-Emmy award-winning actor, but he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for American Fiction. Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon. Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. Ryan Gosling for Barbie. And Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. The odds-on favorite here is Robert Downey Jr. I think if anyone is going to pull an upset, it's going to be Ryan Gosling for Barbie. But this is interesting, though. We went over Best Actor. Killers of the Flower Moon, Leonardo DiCaprio did not end up with an Academy Award nomination, which is a little surprising. Actress in a supporting role. Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer. Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple. America Ferrera for Barbie. Jodie Foster for Nyad. Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. This one is a technicality. This is going to Joy Randolph. I don't think anybody else has a chance of winning this. But there has been some discussion because a surprise appearance on here was America Ferrera in Barbie. And I even was kind of keeping my eye on the live chat in the show. And a lot of people saying, how can America Ferrera get nominated for this? I'll tell you how America Ferrera got nominated for this. And I'm not saying I would have nominated her, but Barbie, the #1 box office film of the year, nominated for Best Picture. The key scene, the scene of Barbie that makes this movie work is America Ferrera's dialogue as she's talking about the plight of being a woman. It is a scene that, if not portrayed absolutely perfectly, falls apart and can fall apart pretty quick. It's brilliantly written dialogue, yes, but if you don't kill it and execute it with perfection, I think it falls apart. And that scene really becomes the nuclear center of that entire movie, in my opinion. And now, if you look at the history of the Oscars, there have been many times that the Oscars have taken, in the supporting category, somebody who has only really had one or two scenes or one key scene in the movie. William Hurt for A History of Violence. Dame Judi Dench in Shakespeare in Love. I mean, there have been many examples of this happening. So while I admit I was a little surprised to see America Ferrera on the list, because I think more big picture of the whole movie, and her character isn't that important to the whole movie. But then when I thought about it and thought about this whole movie is built on that one scene, and she's the one who makes it work. And there is a precedence in the Oscars that the Oscars tend to look for that stuff in the supporting category. So Chris, I wouldn't have personally given her the nomination for this.
No.
But I have no problem with the nomination given the history of the Oscars and kind of what they gave us for. What did you think about it?
I can absolutely understand that. That monologue is basically the thesis statement of the entire movie. And so it makes sense that that very pivotal moment would get noticed. I mean, Meryl Streep has gone on record saying how she wants that monologue, how she wishes she got to deliver that. So I can absolutely see why they did it, but this is definitely going to the holdovers. There's no question.
Joey Randolph is getting
Yeah.
this. By the way, as some people point out too, with America Ferrera getting nominated for Barbie, somebody from Barbie didn't get a nomination. That was Margot Robbie.
Or Greta.
Well, we'll get to
Yeah.
Best Director in a second here. Listen, y'all know I really loved Barbie. I have no problem with Margot Robbie not getting a Best Actress nomination here. I just don't. I think she was great in it. Do I think hers was a top 5 performance of the year? I don't. I would put the 5 that are in there above her. And that's not to take anything away from her incredible performance in Barbie. It was great. But there's only 5 spots, and there were other incredible performances as well. So I'm actually okay that I would have been fine if she did get nominated, but I'm also pretty okay that she didn't get it. All right. We move on now to directing. Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. Killers of the Flower Moon by Martin Scorsese. Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan. Poor Things, Yorgos Lanthimos. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. And Jonathan Glazer from Zone of Interest. Again, as Chris foreshadowed, no Greta Gerwig nomination for Best Director. And again, I'm okay with it. I thought it was a better written movie. It's a don't get me wrong, very well-directed movie, but there are 10 movies nominated for Best Picture, and there's only 5 spots for directors. That means half of the directors of a Best Picture nominated film are not going to get nominated for Best Director. And while I think absolutely Greta and Noah should 100% get a nomination for screenplay, that's where I think the main strength of the film was screenplay. Again, very well-directed film, but I have no problem with her not having a top 5 spot here. Again, like Margot Robbie, I would have been okay if she was. I wouldn't have agreed with it, but I'd be okay with it because she did a great job directing the movie, got nominated for Best Picture. But I kind of feel like they got it right. And here at the end of the day too, like with the Margot Robbie nomination, it's really kind of moot because she wasn't going to win. We know Emma Stone is probably going to win that. Here, it's kind of moot that she didn't get nominated because she wasn't going to win. Christopher Nolan's going to win this. We all know it. So I was kind of okay with it. Anyway, Chris, it's the big thing every year, especially since they expanded the Best Picture category. You're going to have movies nominated for Best Picture where the directors don't get nominated for Best Director. It's just a numbers game. But what did you think about the list that we got?
I was really surprised that Greta wasn't on there, honestly. The Academy, including this year with Justine on there, has only had 8 women ever receive a nomination for Best Director. And I really thought she was going to be number 9. Well, she's been nominated before, but I thought that she would be recognized because I feel like that film, one, because of her incredible screenplay that she wrote with Noah Baumbach, obviously. But I feel like the direction of it really is what held everything together. There's so many interesting stylistic choices made. There's just such heart and love put into every frame of that movie. I was very, very shocked to see that. I don't know who I would swap out, though. That's the other thing here is there are just a finite amount of spots, and I don't know who I would take out of there so that she got her roses.
Because the direction on all these movies, Poor Things, Anatomy of a Fall, Oppenheimer, Kills the Flower Moon, I mean, these are all elite level kind of thing. And again, like the old adage used to be, well, did that movie direct itself? But again, it's a numbers game. There are 10 nominees for Best Picture, only 5 nominees for Best Director.
I am going to repeat myself because the chat seems confused. I just said that Justine makes it the 8th person, you guys. So I understand that a woman is nominated.
Yes,
I'm saying that
she did. She was very clear about that.
We also don't need to have a quota of only one lady gets to be in the category. I think that's pretty reasonable. I don't
know. So anyway, then we get on to writing. In adapted screenplay, where Barbie is and should not be, American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. Now, when I say Barbie shouldn't be there, you might be saying, John, you just said it should absolutely be nominated for writing. It should have been in the original category, where everybody else properly put it. The Writers Guild of America has listed Barbie as an original screenplay. I think they know better. Every other awards body has listed it properly as an original screenplay. The idiocy sometimes coming out of the Academy of Motion Pictures, Art and Sciences sometimes confounds me. But at any rate, Barbie deserved a nomination. It's just in the wrong category. Listen, I'll tell you what. A lot of people are thinking it's Oppenheimer. I think both Barbie and American Fiction have very strong chances here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was forced to put $100 on this, I'd play it safe and put it on Oppenheimer. I'm simply saying, don't anybody act all shocked and surprised if they announce Cord Jefferson for American Fiction or Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach for Barbie. I think these have legitimate shots, not to mention Poor Things and not to mention Zone of Interest. But
yeah,
I don't think this one is as much of a given as the Christopher Nolan one is. What do you think?
Oh, I think that's anyone's game here, especially Zone of Interest. Oh my gosh, that what a movie you see once.
Yes.
I mean, that has a lot of potential to win. Obviously, Barbie could, but I agree with you that should be an original content. Just because it's pre-existing IP does not mean it's adapted from something. It's not like we went, oh, well, let's look at Barbie's timeline and figure it out from there. It's an original story.
Because there are such things as trees when they made Tree of Life. And
yeah.
they didn't go, oh, well, that's an adapted because there are such things as trees.
Yeah.
No, it was ridiculous.
Well, and it's also, so every rom-com that's ever existed then needs to be adapted screenplay because almost everything is formulaically based on Much Ado About Nothing.
Right.
The Lion King is an adapted screenplay of Hamlet. Lion King 1.5 is an adapted screenplay of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. All ideas have happened before.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. Roses are red, violets are blue. Trim your balls, and your date will thank us too. What's up, guys? Valentine's Day is knocking, and Manscaped is the remedy for what the love doctor ordered. His prescription? The all-new Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, designed to elevate your grooming game and shine like the beast you are. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com to get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Campea. Guys, listen, like a lot of you, I used to shave my package like the Neanderthals did, using, the clippers on your electric razor, but that's not what you need for excellence on Valentine's Day. So let's talk about the hero of Valentine's Day, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This electric trimmer features skin-safe technology guarding your Valentine's Day treasure against any grooming mishaps. This package also features the Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and hair trimmer, Manscaped liquid formulations, and 2 free goodies, the Shed Travel Bag and Boxers 2.0, because comfort is king for all my guys. So elevate your grooming game routine and set the stage for a romantically smooth celebration. So guys, get 20% off and free shipping with the code Campea at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code Campea because your grooming upgrade awaits, ready to charm your Valentine's dates. All right. Moving on now to the other writing category for original screenplay, where Barbie should have been. Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May December, which I don't think should be nominated, to be honest with you, and Past Lives, which absolutely should be nominated. I think this is a 2-horse race for Past Lives and The Holdovers. Past Lives is just a lot like Barbie. It's such I mean, that movie is all in its writing. I mean, great direction, beautiful performances. But the way it is written and takes concepts that I think a lot of people have pondered or experienced in their own lives, situations that they've maybe considered. I just think it was such a beautifully done thing. I don't think it's going to be Maestro. I don't think it's going to be Now Fall, but I think it's going to come down to either The Holdovers or Past Lives. Which do you think takes it?
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, Holdovers is just one of those movies. I mean, I know it's even in their marketing materials. They don't make movies like this anymore. And that's part of the charm of it, is it feels like something that came out of like the 1970s or 80s or something. It just has this whole other essence and vibe to it. But Past Lives, I watched that on a plane to Texas and sobbed by myself. And it's a movie too.
You weren't by yourself. You were surrounded by 200
by
people.
everyone, yeah, making my seatmate so uncomfortable. Of why is this woman crying about this couple? It's such a beautiful story, and it's such a wonderful slice of life film that really achieves so much of talking about how you feel as an immigrant, or an immigrant twice over in the case of our lead character, how you feel when you miss a person and you don't make that connection, but you knew there was something there. I mean, it's just a beautiful, relatable story in so many ways too, that it really, really strikes a chord. So I still think I'm going to give it to Holdovers, but man.
I think if I had to put $5 on it, I'd probably say Holdovers as well, but I
Yeah.
think Past Lives has a shot. Now,
So beautiful.
one of the categories, I was asked about this on my open mic yesterday. And by the way, for anybody we're going to have an open mic today as well. But on open mic last night, somebody asked me, what do you think the chances are that Godzilla Minus One gets nominated for Best International Feature? And I said, zero. Zero chance, because countries have to put forward who their representatives are, and Japan did not put forward Godzilla Minus One. So going into today's nominations, there was -1 chance that Godzilla Minus One.
Wow, all that
Wow.
for
Woo.
not a lot of cake.
Not a lot of cake. There was -1 chance that Godzilla had no chance because Japan didn't put it forward as its contender for the award.
Okay.
So that's there. Now, a lot of people then wonder, well, could Godzilla get a nomination for Best Visual Effects?
This was the category right here.
And it did. And I'm going to piss a lot of people off. It shouldn't have.
It shouldn't, yeah.
It,
I'm
sh-
just
it
saying,
shouldn't.
this-
For its budget, it was awesome. But
Yes,
come on.
but that's the category is not
Yeah.
Best Visual Effects for the budget
yeah,
you
the
had.
relatively.
That's not the category.
It's not relatively best visual effects.
Yeah, the name of the award is not relative. But anyway, here are the nominees for Best Visual Effects.
Yes, this is a
The Creator,
woo.
Godzilla Minus One, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, although you can take the Part 1 off that now, and Napoleon, which is how
Yeah.
us Canadian Italians say it, Napoleon, which is a terrible movie, but some very impressive visual effects. Again, the visual effects in Godzilla Minus One, for the fact that it was a $15 million movie, is incredible. But that's not what the category is. The category is Best Visual Effects overall. And as much as I enjoyed the movie, and Ray, you loved the movie, there are a lot of times in that movie where you're like, yeah, this is clearly a $15 million movie. And that's okay. We forgave it because it's a $15 million movie. I really don't think it should have gotten nominated for Best Visual Effects, but there it is. I think it's going to go to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, really?
Or either Guardians of the Galaxy
Creator, man.
or The Creator.
Yeah.
One of the two, because both of those, I mean, one was very photorealistic based. One was great imagination fantasy based. And so I think it's going to come down to one of those two. Which one would you give it to, Ray?
Oh, the Creator, definitely. Well, this category, this is why I say this is my category this year. 4 out of the 5, any of the 4 win, I win. Napoleon's the only one that I don't want to
Yeah.
win because I haven't seen it. So
You're lucky that you didn't see it. Chris, you got a favorite in here?
The Creator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very photoreal, and again, shot with a consumer level camera. It was the movie was shot with the slightly big brother of this camera that I'm shooting on right now.
Which is wild.
Yeah, the
It's
Canon
a
FX30s.
stunning
They
film.
does visual effects include like the design of things too, right?
No,
Like
that's a different. That's a
because
different
like the
category.
buildings in the Creator, I thought were very unique. I didn't know if it landed.
Well, if
Unless-
if the building is a visual effect,
Yeah, unless it was a visual effect.
then,
yeah.
then that's one thing. If it's a real building that they just shot in front of, then
Oh, no.
that's
Like
not
for
visual
instance, great example in Ant-Man 3, best movie of the year, the buildings were effects.
Get out.
Thank
And listen,
See,
those
see myself out.
how is Ant-Man and the Wasp not on here? Those holes didn't create themselves. What about the holes?
No,
Holes. All right.
I never want to think about them.
Yeah. So anyway, we're not going to go over all the categories, but again, best short documentary. No, we're not going to go over all of them, but again, some minor surprises. But again, I don't think nobody got left off. Here's the thing. I don't think anybody got left off any of the lists who legitimately had a legit chance to win, right? Like Greta Gerwig was not going to win Best Director. Christopher Nolan's going to get that. Margot Robbie was not going to win Best Lead Actress. That's going to go to Emma Stone or possibly Lily Gladstone.
You guys do this with a couple of the ones. Which one would you have put in place of Godzilla -1? I forgot to ask that for visual effects. Is there any off the top of your head that would?
Oh,
I remember I looked at the list of 15 that was shortlisted the other day, and I didn't even have Godzilla -1 in the top 10.
Oh, okay.
So I would have to have the list in front of me again.
There's a couple on there that you would have put
okay,
on.
and again, for $15 million, what they did in that movie is insane, is so good. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.